lot to do to get ready for Christmas. I'm only about 100 pages into an 800-page book. Yeah. And I also need to do things like, okay, so I'm a little wound up and I'm hosting a party. So hello. Hello, hello, hello. Hi, look, I got a haircut. Yeah, he gave me, I kind of asked for bangs and I don't know. He gave me kind of these wispy things, which I like. They're fine. I think he was right. I'm still trying to figure out the hair. It's a little bit darker, which is fine. The darker will lighten up over time. I'm happy if the grays are covered. Hello, welcome everyone to another vlog. And I looked at the date this morning and I thought, uh-oh. Oh my gosh, we are getting so close. We are a week away. Tomorrow, okay, today's Saturday, tomorrow's Sunday, and we are a week away from Christmas. So we have a lot to do. There's a lot to do to get ready for Christmas, and I am having a Christmas open house this week on Thursday. So I have a lot to do to get ready for that. Because I have some like Christmas shopping to do. I still have Christmas shopping to do. I'm gonna probably go to a bookstore because I wanna get books for people for Christmas. I want to make my cranberry sauce. I need to make some of the Christmas food things that I always make ahead of time, and I'm not even gonna have time for baking this year. It's kind of sad. I might have to bake after the fact. I have to make my make-ahead gravy, which is the Jamie Oliver recipe that you buy wings and you make the gravy before, and it honestly, it makes the Christmas dinner. It's so delicious. So we're gonna do that. I'm gonna make my cranberry sauce, which is really easy to make, which I make every year. So some cooking on this vlog. It's gonna be a fun one. And I wanna make mulled wine for the party, which means I have to get the wine. Mulled wine is fairly easy to do. We're gonna decorate a little bit. Oh, I'm gonna show you, I got the cutest decorations. Hang on. Look at the cute napkins. Look how cute with the little Christmas trees on them. I got another set of napkins. I don't know, I'm really into the napkins that I got. These are really cute. Look how they say cheers. Look how cute they are. Yeah, I got napkins and I don't know why I got this. I'm such a sucker. I am really a sucker for these things. But I got this really cute little paper garland of Christmas trees. I don't know where I'm gonna put it. Somewhere in my dining room. I have to wrap presents. We usually do like popcorn and cranberry garlands on the tree. We still have to decorate the tree. There's still so much to be done. And we are reading, my friends, because we have to finish off some books for the Reindeer Readathon. I have 3 books that I'm going to be reading this week, which I'm going to introduce to you. I'm very excited for. Well, one of them I'm still reading. I have to do something with this toy while I film. So the first book that we're going to focus quite a bit of time on this week is Fayne. I am up to chapter 14, which is not too, 122 pages into an 800-page book. Not bad. Is it only 800? No, not even. It's like 700. Oh, he's got the napkin. Oh no, he's got the garland. Okay, I'm gonna have to zip up my knapsack because he just got the garland. I knew that was gonna happen. I mean, he's so predictable. Okay, so I am 1/7 of the way into Fayne. I haven't made much progress, but we are focusing on Fayne this week for sure. I'm loving it. She is about to meet a new friend because her dad has been convinced by this new caregiver that she needs to have a friend her own age. So she's about to meet this new friend, and we still have this letters going back and forth, which I feel like I should know what the story is behind, but I don't. Fayne. Fayne is happening this week for sure. And I do want to read 2 other books that I chose for the Reindeer Readathon. Still Life by Sarah Winman. So I read Tin Man this year during the college reading vlog that I filmed earlier this year, and I fell in love with that book. And I thought that this book had animals on the cover, but it only has parrot. So it is for one of the prompts for the Reindeer Readathon. I've only just begun. I'm like literally 10 pages. It takes place in Florence at the time of the Second World War, or Tuscany, Florence in Italy. We're starting out with the character Evelyn Skinner, who is an art historian, and she has arrived in Italy to salvage paintings from the ruins, and I think she's going to meet a soldier, although that hasn't happened yet. But I think that that's what happens. I'm going in a little bit blind, but I'm very excited because I've heard very good things about this. This is supposed to be fantastic, and I'm just really looking forward to it. It's a bit of a chunker. It's 450 pages, but I think it's going to be one of those reads that I get pretty engrossed in, so I'm very excited. about reading that one. And then we're gonna read a thriller, like a horror thriller. Excited. At the Anthill by Julianne Pachico. I hope I'm saying her name right. This one I'm already 50 pages into and it's already kind of weird. It's about this woman, Carolina Lena, who goes back, she goes from the UK back to Colombia, and it seems like her life has been very unsuccessful. She's really getting away from her failures. And she goes back to Colombia, which is where she's from, but she's been away for 20 years. And she goes to find this childhood friend, Maddie, who she grew up with. And he runs a daycare for children, for street kids. And she's now participating as a volunteer at this daycare for kids, and already the kids are starting to act weird. They're doing weird drawings and stuff. Yeah, it's weird. So this volunteer has scratched her finger till it bleeds. There's some weird things going on. No, they're weird interactions. So we know that she's got some issues because some weird things are going on at the daycare, and she says that this doesn't even compete with her worst moment, not even close. So many others in the running, which to choose. The time she burst into tears during the conference presentation, and everyone stared as liquid dripped from her nose onto her blouse, and all she could think was stop crying, stop crying, stop crying. On New Year's Eve, she threw up on the pub bathroom floor, and when she returned to her table laughing and joking about ordering more shots, the bartender approached her and icily requested that she leave. The time her advisor silently passed back the draft of her dissertation, the passages she'd plagiarized highlighted with a blaring yellow marker. Sounds like she had a rough time there in the UK. I mean, some of it sounds like a normal stuff, but the plagiarism stuff doesn't sound very good. But she's saying like really weird things are starting to happen at the daycare. Nothing major yet, but even when her friend comes to pick her up, he acts like it's not him. He pretends he's not himself, and then he's like, oh, actually it's me. So there's already really creepy things happening in this book, so we shall see. I like keeping a mix of books on the go. I'm very excited for this week, but I'm also a little bit like, can I pull all of this stuff off? Is it going to be possible? Am I going to have to double duty? Because I also have a ton of school work to do. I have marking to do as well. It'll all get done eventually. So welcome to the third installment. Nice to have you back. Oh, that was very smart. Well, it wasn't my idea. It's Chris. She knows what to do. The lighting in here is to be desired. 4 o'clock, bad lighting, raining. The weather's been kind of the pits, so try not to let it bother me too much. I went to the bookstore. You would have just seen that. Went to the bookstore and got some books for some friends, which we're gonna wrap together. I gotta wrap those before the party tomorrow. Time has kind of gotten away from me a little bit. We still need to finish decorating the tree, which we're gonna do this evening. So yeah, but I've been reading, and I've been reading Fayne, and Fayne is so good. I'll get to it in a minute. Okay, wait. Okay. So let me update you on my reading. So I'm 183 pages into the Anthill, and this book is, I don't know what to make of this book. It's a bit, the thing that's throwing me off a little bit with the Anthill is that the main character, Lena, whose name is Carolina, is being referred to throughout the novel, sometimes as Lena, by Maddie, who's now referred to as Matthias. They were friends when they were little. So he's referring to her as Lena. So she's referred to also as the new volunteer. Like, so this chapter that's called Story Time, which takes place at the daycare, it starts out, the new volunteer had forgotten. And it's a reference to Lena. And then we know that her name is Carolina, and sometimes people at the Anthill call her Carolina, I think, unless I'm missing something. I'm finding that to be a little bit confusing. I don't know if that means that we're supposed to think that, well, we don't know who the narrator is. Like, sometimes the narrator is Lena, and then, so, yeah. So I think it's done this way to give the idea that the story is unreliable or mystical, or we don't even really know what the time frame is. And I think it's because it's I don't know if she's Latin American. That's a nod, I think, to a Latin American tradition, because there's something happening here that suggests the supernatural, because there's something in the closet in the daycare. The kids are behaving strangely. There's like a lot of weird, strange things happening in the book. And then there's also this jumping back and forth from being at the Anthill. So Carolina has come back to Colombia and she is volunteering at this daycare called the Anthill, and she is trying to reconnect with this man, Matthias, who she called Maddie when she was young. And he is not who he seems, and she doesn't know what he's become. She doesn't know how the Anthill is being financed and run. There's been some references to drug lords and the drug cartels, and also there's been some reference to the FARC. I still don't know what's going on. I'm not really sure what's happening in this book, and I think that's meant to be that way. So, and we know that she's a failed PhD, and I guess we sort of are now getting a little bit of the backstory about how she knows Matthias, or Maddie, and what their relationship was. So I'm having a little bit of a hard time following the narrative. Oh, and just to say that it's jumping back and forth between her time at the daycare. There's some kind of sub-story where, I don't know if it's Maddie talking to Lena, I think it's Maddie talking to Lena and talking about how it kind of merges time and space, and so you don't know if it's a dream state. It's very surreal. So I don't really know what's going to happen. I don't know what's happening in this book, which is but I'm enjoying reading it at the same time. So, like, I want to find out what's happening and why the children are behaving so strangely and why there are these incidents of violence periodically. So I'll keep you posted on how it goes with this one. Yeah, it's a very strange read. And then, oh yes, Fayne, everybody. Okay, so I'm over a quarter of the way in. I think I'm about 30% into Fayne now. And now I understand what these letters are. We've come to discover that these letters between May and, okay, so in chapter 19, we find out what the deal is with these letters, because she's made this friend Gwendolyn, and she's talking to Gwendolyn, and she had found this cloak on the moors with her tutor, who's since left, and was wearing it, and I think she discovers that it was her mother's cloak, and we don't really know what happened to her mother. And she also has, I don't think I talked about this yet, but she also has a brother, and her brother's ghost is visiting her and talking to her. And so she says she's having a conversation with Gwendolyn, and she says, "My brother, he died, and no one will tell me why, except to say he was sickly. In dreams, it seems there is something he wishes me to know." I shivered, felt my eyes water. I fear lest he too had the condition. She has a condition, and I'm not sure what her condition is. My voice died to a whisper, and that it killed him. But Charlotte, you've outgrown your condition, surely. And then Gwendolyn says, "Charlotte, I mentioned to my mother the cloak you found, and she told me a secret. She was in her cups, but still 'tis a secret she's kept for the sake of your father, for my father rather, for Lord Henry is his employer after all. So Gwendolyn's father is employed by Charlotte's father, Lord Henry. Also because, well, she did so admire your mother. What secret? Ma'am told me she knew a lady who walked out onto the moor one night and said it was no mad woman, Charlotte, it was your mother. I must have blanched, for she added quickly, you see, when she was pregnant with your brother, your mom slept-walked out into the bog, and, well, she ate the moor mud. I could not speak. It's all right, Charlotte. Mrs. Knox told my ma'am there's no strange in a pregnant woman craving nutrients that are from the soil. They were even encouraged to eat it. So you see, if Charles was sickly, it may be he contagioned something in the bog, and it's nothing to do with you. Whoa! Okay. So, and then I think what we find out is that her mom she went mad. But she had Charlotte before she died. So, and then she finds the letters. So these letters that I was trying to figure out what they were, they're actually written between Gwendolyn's mom, I think, and May. And now I'm in the section of the book where her mom, May, so it's actually going to be the window into the story of Charlotte's mom's and dad's life, these letters, because now we're in, and I guess now we're getting the story of Charlotte's mom before Charlotte was born. So I don't know, it's really good. It's really, really good. I'm enjoying it so much. It took me a little while to get into this book, I will say, but I'm really enjoying it. I'm almost 100 pages in. I don't want to give anything away, so I won't say. Something kind of pivotal happens in the first part of the book. Evelyn and Ulysses meet each other, and there's this discussion about, because she's trying to recover art and restore it that was potentially damaged during the war. And so Evelyn, she's in her 60s, meets Ulysses. He's a soldier, he's quite young, and they cross paths, and then we're taken back 2 years later. So that starts in 1944. And then we're taken back 2 years later to 1946, all the way through to 1953, with Ulysses back in the UK and the introduction of this character Peg, who he was married to and who wants a divorce, who's since had a child with someone else. Ulysses gets a job in this pub, and the parrot that's on the cover is a parrot named Claude that's in this pub. There are a couple of other characters that are introduced in this part of the story. And I think what happens is that they're going to go to Italy, but I'm not at that part yet. So actually a pretty interesting commentary on art. So I'll just read you this little passage, just because I love Sarah Winman's writing. She's so good. This is just in the very beginning of the book when Evelyn has met Ulysses and they're talking about the importance of art and its survival. So Ulysses says, he's asking her if this piece of artwork, Pontormo's Deposition. So I want to look what that is. Pontormo's Deposition. Okay, this was a really important painting because, so she's talking about Pontormo's Deposition, which is or actually it's called The Deposition from the Cross. Pontormo is the painter, I think. And Ulysses is saying, like, is this worth saving? And she says, Evelyn says, I think so, I really do, to make sure it's around for another generation because it is important, Ulysses. And then he says, more important than people, or he asks, I guess, because the war has taken so many lives. And Evelyn responds, well, this is what Sarah Winman writes. Evelyn let out a long stream of smoke. She said, they go together. It's what we've always done. Left a mark on a cave or on a page, showing who we are, sharing our view of the world, the life we're made to bear. Our turmoil is revealed in those painted faces, sometimes tenderly, sometimes grotesquely. Art becomes a mirror. All the symbolism and the paradox ours to interpret. That's how it becomes part of us, and as counterpoint to our suffering, we have beauty. We like beauty, don't we? Something good on the eye cheers us, does something to us on a cellular level, makes us feel alive and enriched. Beautiful art opens our eyes to the beauty of the world. It repositions our sight and judgment, captures forever that which is fleeting. A meager stain on the corridors of history, that's all we are. A little mark of scuff. 150 years ago, Napoleon breathed the same air as we do now. The battalion of time marches on. Art versus humanity is not the question, Ulysses. One doesn't exist without the other. art is the antidote. Is that enough to make it important? Well, yes, I think it is. So I quite enjoyed that. Thought that was really good. I'm not sure sort of where it's going, but it is quite long, so I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to finish it for this vlog, but I'm definitely going to be finishing it before the end of the year. So that's my little reading update. So yeah, let's take a look at the books that I got for my friends. I'm going to be giving these out at my party tomorrow. So that's the thing. We have to get ready for the party. Let's see. What did we pick up? I'm having a little bit of a hard time deciding on what to give to people, which is always the way. Can you get off me, please? Thank you. Okay, look, I got this cute wrapping paper. Look, it has dogs on it. Look at this dog wrapping paper. It's so cute. But we have a lot of decorating to do. We have some cooking to do still, and we're going to get ready for this awesome little, yeah, I say party, but it's just really a drop-in. But I got Crying in Age Mart for one of my friends because it's such a good memoir. I got Tom Lake by Ann Patchett because this is for a friend who I think will appreciate it. I know she likes Ann Patchett. I think she'll appreciate the reference to Chekhov, the cherry orchards and all that. How to Say Babylon, a memoir. I heard about this book on a best of interview, I think with, I can't remember if it was the New York, well, it was the editor for the New York Times and somewhere else. I'll link it down below. And this is a memoir by Safia Sinclair about living with her father, who was part of a very extreme Rastafari group, a very strict sect of Rastafari. So this friend of mine knows a lot about Jamaica. She's researched and studied Rastafari, so I'm hoping it's not too close to home, but I'm hoping that she'll be really interested. Plus, I've just heard really, really good things about it. And then I also got Claire Keegan's short story collection, Antarctica, for my daughter. And because I loved Claire Keegan's book Foster so much, I really wanted to give something to my daughter, and this is a short story collection, and I just think it's going to be nice because she has a lot of reading for school, and I think this will be a nice one for her to be able to read casually when she has a minute. She's not going to have a minute once the semester starts again, but let's get wrapping some books, shall we? Hopefully the dog won't give me too much hassle. And then we got to get ready for the party. We had such a nice time at our little holiday open house drop-in. I had such a nice time. Really, some of my dearest friends came by, and it was just nice. It's the first time I've done anything like that since the pandemic. I also received a couple of gifts that I just wanted to talk about really quickly. One of my friends gave me braiding sweetgrass. It's a bit ironic because I talked about this as a possible gift in my gift guide, and then I got it as a gift. So I just thought that was really sweet. This is nonfiction. Robin Hill Kimmerer, who's written it, is a botanist, and she is a member of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation. So those two areas of knowledge are brought together, mostly about indigenous wisdom, scientific knowledge, and the teaching of plants. But it's supposed to be more than that. She brings forward this idea that there's a wider consciousness, a wider knowledge than just the narrowness of human knowledge. Nola's chewing away on his phone. I'm trying to catch the light before it goes. And then my friend gave me, I've been joking with this friend of mine who we go to trivia. If you've been around my channel for a while, you know I go to a regular Sunday night trivia. It was in my fall vlog where I took you along with me, but I was joking that I really need to learn the periodic table because a lot of the trivia questions, I think almost every time there's at least one periodic table question. Maybe not every time, but quite frequently. And then so my friend got me this periodic table of elements, little pouch, little pencil case pouch. It was such a good, fun, jokey thing to give me, and I just really appreciate that. And then the other thing she gave me was a little guide to cocktails, because there's often questions about cocktails as well. I also got a homemade gift this year. This is like a body scrub that my friend made, and look at the cute little mitten on the top of the jar. Oh, I can't get over it. So cute. So much fun. Really had a nice... it is the eve of Christmas Eve. It's really getting close. We're going to make the gravy today. We're going to make the cranberry sauce. It's going to go into the evening, so we'll see how the reading goes. But I must say, I just got completely sucked in to Fayne, and I can't even put it down now. I'm up to part 5, which means that I'm 520 pages or so in. I'm about 70% of the way into the book. And all the things at the beginning of this vlog that I was all the questions that I had about the mysteries in this book are being answered, and they're not in unexpected ways. It's amazing. The way that she's written the book, the way that she's been able to weave together this narrative between the letters between Taffy and May, and going now back into this, we've been in this timeline that is her parents, their meeting, the questions about what happened to her brother are being answered. I don't want to give anything away in this vlog in case you're going to read Fayne, so this is a spoiler-free vlog. But the way that Anne-Marie MacDonald is able to build this narrative and reveal slowly all of the information is it's just so well done, and it's so much to do with the character, with Charlotte's character, her own character herself. She is a very bold child coming into being a young woman, and she has a lot of curiosity and a lot of questions, and she's not shy to be direct and to ask the questions that she wants answered. And it's clear that her family loves her, especially the character of her nurse, Noxie, who was her father's nurse as well, and her aunt's nurse. Her aunt plays a larger role as we get further into the story, because they move to Edinburgh, and they moved to Edinburgh under the auspices that her dad says that she's going to go to school there, that she's going to go to the University of Edinburgh. But as we move into the story, it's not clear whether that's going to happen or not. We get more information about what happened with her tutor and why he left, and we get more information about her brother, really importantly, and her mom, her mom's story. And her mom's character is also a really great character, a really unique voice. So we get her story as well. From her perspective, it's narrated from her character's voice. And the father is a bit, and it's got that saga-like quality that spans different places and different times. But it's also very much about this young girl's identity. She's trying to understand who she is, having lost her mother, and she's trying to unravel the mystery of what happened to her brother and her mom. It's really good. And then like I said, her aunt plays a big role, and her aunt is a very distinct character as well. And now we're in part 5, and part 5, as I mentioned earlier in the vlog, we are led to believe that her mother, because she was found on the moor eating the soil, and that was how her brother got ill. Like, we do find out more too about Charlotte's condition. That all gets revealed. There's this notion that her mom went mad, and then there's also this idea introduced that her mom killed herself, and now there's another idea being introduced as to what happened with her mom. So we don't have an answer yet as to what happened with her mom. We're going to get that in the last part of the book, I'm pretty sure. So that's what I think is coming in part 5. But yes, I found my favorite book of the year for sure. This book is so good. I love it so much, and all of the references, constant referencing to the Bronte moors, the Charlotte Bell, this land that they're on, Fayne, that's in between England and Scotland, and this whole notion of So there's the notion of being in between. It's really a coming of age story as well about Charlotte and about her discovering herself. So for example, she gets her period and she's discovering more about the world. Her friend went, so she's gone with her father to Edinburgh. We're the second to the last part. There's 6 parts to the book. So I think we're going to find out what happens to her mom, and I think we're also going to find out what happens to Charlotte if Charlotte ends up getting into university, because it's very feminist in that sense, because Charlotte is doing things that normally women wouldn't do. There's a lot of discussion about what women should do, what women shouldn't do at this time. And going to the university is one of those things. Women being educated is one of those things. We'll see what happens with that. We'll see what her father does with that, because he's saying that he's promising that he's going to have her go, but she has to see this doctor first about her condition. And we have some more information about this condition, which I'm not going to reveal because that would really spoil the book. Also, her friend Gwendolyn has just, I think that she is maybe fallen in love with her old tutor, or she's met her old tutor. There's some crossover there with the old tutor, and the old tutor is saying he didn't abandon Charlotte, he was sent away in the middle of the night. We're gonna find out why he was sent away. So she's able to keep the mystery going and the reveals going through the telling of the story, the coming of age story, Charlotte's coming of age story, and the story about this character who really is trying to figure out who she is, where she comes from, and who she wants to be. And that's all I can really say without giving too much more away. I think I'm going to probably stay up and finish it tonight. And yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to give another update or not before I end the vlog, just because we're getting into Christmas. In terms of the other 2 books that I'm reading, I haven't gotten much further with them because I just got completely sucked into Fayne. We're going to make some gravy. I love the way the gravy smells when the house is filled with the aromas of the gravy and all the Christmas dinner. So yes, we need to basically prepare the wings, put them in the oven, and then strain the gravy. So it's quite an involved process. I did read some more of the Anthill, and it's still really weird. I'll give you an update on that after. Let's first go to the kitchen and do some cooking. Okay, we're here in the kitchen. We're gonna make this gravy. It requires chicken wings. So the method is to roast the chicken wings with some herbs, some bay leaf, some sage or rosemary, celery, onions, carrots, some bacon, rashers of bacon. That's very British, rasher of bacon. You put it in the oven and you let it cook for like an hour, and then you use a potato masher to smash down everything to get all the juices out. And then you strain it, and then you cook it, and you add the flour, and it thickens up, and you have your gravy for your Christmas dinner. Pre-made gravy. It's the best thing ever. You can freeze it. You can keep it in your fridge. I will leave the recipe links down below. And yeah, let's get to it. So this is the part in the recipe where we add in the chicken wings. So if you're at all queasy about chicken and you're a vegetarian, maybe skip this part. And if you're interested in this recipe and cooking, this part is actually kind of a lot of fun because you have to bash the chicken wings to get the flavor out of them. So I usually use a rolling pin and bash the chicken wings. So we're going to do some bashing right about now. So we're putting them in the oven for 1 hour so all the juices can get all juicy. Now it's time to make some cranberry sauce. I usually just wing it, but if you want a recipe to reference, I'll include Ina Garten's recipe because it's pretty good. Basically, it's just fresh cranberries, sugar, and you can use some kind of citrus. I usually use clementines. Her recipe has apples in it. I leave the apples out. And cinnamon. I like to put cinnamon in mine. And you just boil it, basically. But it's really fun to make. And then I usually put it in a jar and we save it for the rest of the season. So I'm just going to wash these. These are the cranberries. Look how pretty they look. I'm just going to wash them. So basically, we just have to wait until the cranberries pop. And then when they're popped, they're cooked, they really pop and shrink down. And then we're gonna zest in some clementine and some clementine juice, and I'm gonna put in a stick of cinnamon. It's gonna be so nice. If you can get fresh cranberries where you are, I really recommend making this because it's so much better than the canned, tinned cranberry sauce. And it's very easy to make. Okay, everyone, so the cranberry sauce is cooking, the gravy's in the oven. In terms of this one, the Anthill, I am not finished yet, but I think I'm almost finished, and I think that basically what this is really an important, it's a good thriller book. It has that mystical, otherworldly feel to it, like you're in a dream or you're in an alternate reality. There's something surreal about it. But it's also giving a commentary because Lena's mom took Maddie when he was a boy. And I guess I'm sort of giving something away, so if you don't want spoilers, she really took him from his parents. The story was that so spoilers, I guess, for this if you don't want it spoiled. It seems like this is a bigger commentary on the poor children of Mendelen because the Anthill is an orphanage, not an orphanage, sorry, it's a daycare for these poor children. But it turns out that Lena's mom took Maddie from his mother. And the story, according to Lena's mother, is that Maddie's mother begged her to take him, but the story, according to Maddie, I think is different. So I'm not sure. We're gonna find out by the end of it, and I will wrap it in my month's wrap up. But it's a little bit of a weird book, and like I said, I got really distracted by Fayne, so I'm really sorry I didn't finish this one for the vlog because I don't like to do that. But I'm almost finished, and I do think it's like this because her mom is an evangelical Christian, so it's this kind of commentary on this idea of the white savior person in the form of the woman who sweeps in and takes this child away from his parents. So we're gonna see how that ends. And then Still Life, I'm loving as well. I'm still not that much further along. They have moved to Italy. So Ulysses inherited a property and he's moved to Italy. So they're on their way and they're taking the parrot with them. There is a talking parrot. In fact, there's also a man who talks to trees. So it's getting on the borderline of being weird on the one hand, and on the other hand, I'm just going with it because it's Sarah Winman and I like her. So we'll see how I do. We'll see what the verdict is when I get to the end of the book. But so far, I am really enjoying it as well. I'm really looking forward to just relaxing and reading, doing some puzzles, opening a few gifts, cooking a great Christmas dinner. It's going to be really fun. I'm really looking forward to this time at home. It's a little bit later. I got the cranberry sauce done. Look how beautiful. Yum. And the gravy is done too. The only problem that I had with the gravy, and you can probably see a little bit, there's like a couple of burnt bits. It burned. I didn't burn it, it burnt. So just be careful if you're making that recipe because my oven is apparently very hot. So the gravy got a little overdone. I have read a little bit more of Fayne and it just gets better and better. So definitely having a great time with it. So yeah, just to end off this vlog, I just wanted to say happy holidays to everybody watching. I hope that you have an easy time of it. Sometimes the holidays can be really tough. It definitely, in our household, there's always some point at which somebody has a breakdown. So just try to be kind to one another, be kind to yourselves. And I just wanted to thank everyone who's been watching my channel this year and commenting, those of you that have been subscribed for a long time, those of you who are new. It's so great to get into conversations with you in the comments. And for my viewers, I just wanted to give a really warm thank you to you all for a really great year of BookTube, and looking forward to 2024. Shout out to the other booktubers out there. Hope you take a little bit of time off and enjoy the holidays. I will see you for future fun end of year content, probably in just a few days. Bye everyone. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Bye. Happy New Year. Bye. Cutest decorations. I'm so excited. Well, decorations. I got the cutest napkins. You're gonna have to be quiet, buddy. While he's already eaten an ornament off the tree. I don't know. Now, let's look at the gifts that I got for my friends. Oh, my pet. Oh, she's old. And I just wanted to read you a little bit about the art. Nola, stop. You're being so nutty. A meager stain in the corridors of history. That's all we were. So it's so good, and it's Nola, you can't play with that box while I'm filming. I have to move this ornament because he's freaking it. This is what the lengths that he goes to get my attention.